Hey guys, how you doing out there in this camera? There we go. How you doing out there in social media land? This is Justin Rains, Justin Rafiki Rains to some people. Um, I just want to take the time to say thank you for everyone that has contributed to the J Rains Transplant Fund. It has been such a tremendous help to me and my family financially, which you don't know. Like it's been amazing, and I thank you so much for your contributions. And I ask that you would continue to repost and reshare the link which I'll put at the bottom of this video when I'm finished. But I also wanted to just give an update and give a little background information on myself and basically my testimony. Um, Back in 2007 is when I noticed that my kidneys were starting to kind of go down. Um, at the time I was doing a lot of traveling with Israel and New Breed and also JoJo, and we were doing a lot of international dates, and I started seeing swelling in my ankles. I'm like, what is this? I thought it was from flying so much, but um, apparently it wasn't. uh, I was getting ready to. Well, Israel was invited to go to Nigeria for the experience, and so I had to get shots to go into Nigeria. So I went to go see my doctor, and before I got the shots, I asked my doctor if she could look at my ankles and my legs, because the swelling was getting bigger. It was going from my ankles to about my calf region. So she checked it, and she said, you have lowercase edema. I said, what is that? She said, basically your body is retaining water, and that's just a sign that there could be something wrong with your kidneys. I said, okay. So they did the necessary test, and the test confirmed that my kidneys were starting to, or they weren't working properly for whatever reason. So that was the start of a long journey. So from there, it was in and out of the hospital, and the doctors did every test that you can think of several times, and every test came back negative as to why my kidneys were going in the south direction. So during that time, as I stated, I was in and out of the hospital. I was spending 2-3 weeks in the hospital because my body would gain so much fluid because my kidneys weren't doing their job as to, relieving the fluid from my body and cleansing my blood. So I would have to do frequent trips to the hospital, stay 2 weeks, 2-3 weeks, because I would gain about 30 pounds of fluid in just a week, which was very dangerous, and it was life-changing for me during that time. And because the doctors didn't know exactly why, my kidneys were failing, I was kind of a test subject. One of my doctors told me at the time that at that particular time there were only 3 cases in the country that they knew of that was similar to mine. There was no reason. It wasn't hereditary. I was in good health. Other than that, like, I didn't have anything else spiking out of control. I wasn't in my family. I didn't catch anything. It was just came out of nowhere. My kidneys just wanted to start going downhill. So the only fact is that the kidneys were failing. So the doctor's thing was, let's try and see if we can beat on these kidneys and get them to wake up. And during that, I was on about 13, 14, maybe 15 different medications, because each medication had a different side effect. So I had to have another medication to cure that side effect, and then that one had a side effect to cure that side effect. So it was a lot. I'm on steroid, I was on steroids, which it adds fluid to your body. It helps you to retain fluid. And then I was on this medication and this medication. So at one point in that 2 years of me being a test, at one point, I gained about, or I gained to become about 230 pounds, and it was majority fluid. I was extremely light skinned. I lost all the pigmentation in my body to the point where people couldn't recognize who I was. I would go places and they're like, "Hey man, has anybody ever told you that you look like a light skinned Justin Raines?" And all I could do was laugh, and I'll say, "Well, I am Justin Raines." And like, "No, you're not." And like, they would argue me down, and I would have to pull out my license. Like, you mean this Justin Raines, right? And they're like, "Oh my God, what happened?" So, um, but it was a hard, time, because you don't realize how important an organ is until it's not working. You know, um, I started developing just weird things because my kidneys weren't working. I started developing blood clots. I had a blood clot in my arm, and it made my arm grow like 5 times its size. It was. I've had gout in my foot. That's an old man's disease, and all because my kidneys weren't working. Like everything just started to go haywire. So basically, for about 2 years, I was just on different medications, medications like experimental medications, medications I had to sign waivers for. It was just a lot. It was a lot on my body, and my kidneys weren't getting any better. They were actually getting worse. And I can remember I was on the last leg of a tour with Israel and Chris Tomlin in 2009, and we were in Atlanta, and I just wasn't feeling right. My heart wasn't feeling right, and so I went to the hospital. And the doctors in there, when you're in a different city, they don't know your whole medical history. So he's in the emergency room. He's going crazy. If you don't go on dialysis right now, you're gonna die, and all this other stuff. And I'm just looking at him like, God's not gonna let me die here. So anyway, so I get back to Boston, and at the end of the tour, and I saw my nephrologist, my kidney doctor, and she said, we've done all that we can, and you got to go on dialysis. So I started dialysis June 3rd of 2009. It was a devastating time for me because I couldn't travel anymore. I was worried about how am I going to support myself, because I wasn't married at the time. I wasn't married. I didn't know how I was going to support myself financially. How am I going to live? What is going on? Like, I just would just break down because I really didn't know what dialysis was. I just knew that I was going to be restricted, and it took me about 4 or 5 months to get like used to I never really wanted to get used to it, but just to get it wrap it around my mind that I'm on dialysis. And when you're starting dialysis, they have to go through different tests to see exactly how long you need to be on dialysis, what's your dry weight, and all this stuff. And so horrible. For those that don't know what dialysis is, I'll give a brief description. Basically, it acts as your the treatment of dialysis acts as your kidney. Now, your kidney, it cleans your blood, and then it also filters your blood, which makes urine. It takes all the bad protein in the waste, and it sends that to your bladder, and it takes all of your the good protein and sends that back to your body. So when your kidneys aren't working, it can send good protein out of your body. So that's how the doctors even figured out how to do that. But anyway, that's just a brief description of what your kidneys do. And dialysis. Well, I was on hemodialysis. So if some people that know me that would see me, they would see a catheter like coming out of my shirt. They would see like a little stop coming out, and that's what I would use. But another form would be a fistula, which is a connection of your veins that's under your skin, and you usually can't see it. But anyway, my treatment was I had to sit in a chair for 4 hours, 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. And I would sit there. The dialysis machine would clean my blood, so it takes the blood out of my body, cleans it, puts it right back in my body at a very rapid pace, over and over and over and over and over again. And anyone that's given blood before, at the end you feel a little woozy, a little dizzy. Times that by like 100 after dialysis, because while dialysis is cleaning your blood, it's also removing excess fluid, because most of the time people aren't using the restroom to relieve the bad fluid. So your body can also become wasteful because you don't have a way of releasing it. So during dialysis, it's cleaning my blood, and then it's also removing fluid from my body as well. So I could lose 10 pounds, 10, 12 pounds, 8 to 12 pounds in 4 hours. But it's just fluid though. But you can imagine losing that much weight in such a short amount of time can just make you feel extremely weak, tired, I would go home and just feel like extremely, 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 extremely weak. And and it, but I would have to fight through it. I just have to fight through it and push through it because I have a family to take care of. I have to still work. I have to the dates that I can do and travel, I will go. I mean, I had to be extremely strategic. It was a lot. I don't want to go into too much detail, but but that was for about 4 years. I had to do that for 4 years, and I was never unfaithful. I mean, there were times where I would get discouraged, like really bad. Like I'm like, God, why me? I'm over this. I just want this to be done. What is going on? Questioning God. I would really sit there and question God. You know, people see, you on stage and you smiling, you having fun and everything, and you're giving God the glory because I'm definitely that's what I'm doing. But in your personal life, you go through things. We all go through things, and not everybody knows what you're going through, especially when you're on a big stage most of the time. They just see the big stage. They just see, oh, he's good. He's up there living his dream. He is good, which is true. But the flesh side of me, or when I go home, it's like, dang, I'm tired. I'm weak. Like, it's yeah. So, but anyway, um, so 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 I'm on dialysis for about 4 years, but God sustained me through it all. I got married while on dialysis. I had 2 kids while on dialysis. My son is 2, and my daughter is she's 5 months now. Both healthy, and God has done so much for us in that time. And on November 16th of 2013, I got the call, and my doctor called me on a Saturday and said, "We have a kidney for you." But what's crazy, where the miracle really comes in, is that before that, God was just doing stuff in my life back to back to back to back, and everything that He did, He would provide to the max. I needed rent money. God provided it to the exact amount of money that I needed. Um, God, it was just amazing. And when He did that, God spoke to me and He said, "I'm getting ready to do some things in your life, and it's going to be fast. It's going to happen fast. So you have to be ready." Told my wife about it, and my wife said, "You know what? I've been getting from God that we need to do everything that we can with what we have, and then let God bless the rest." I said, "Okay." I hear you. And then my father-in-law said, "Let's do a kidney drive. You have 2 kids. You don't need to be restricted. Let's do a kidney drive." I was like, "All right, let's do it." So me and my wife and my 2 kids, we did a photo shoot, we did a video shoot, and everything to prepare for the kidney drive. My father-in-law was working on flyers that we were going to pass around the church, basically just to ask people, "Hey, do you want to give a kidney?" And that's a weird question to ask, but that's what we're going to do. And we finished the video shoot, we finished the photo shoot, and it was going to air at my church on November 17th, and then on YouTube, and we're going to pass out flyers and everything. On November 16th, actually on November 14th, I got into a car accident on the way back from New York. Nobody was hurt. Everybody got home safe, but it was just weird that I was in a car accident 2 days before. I get a call on Saturday, and the doctor's like, "Yeah, we have a kidney for you." And the kidney came from a young man that passed away in a car accident. So I was like, "Okay, God, what is going on?" but all that to say, the miracle there was we were doing everything that we could. But let's do a kidney drive. Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's do that. All that we can, and just let God bless it. God, and I feel like God saw us putting action to our faith, and He said, "I see what you're doing. I see that you really want this. So there you go. You don't even have to air the video." The day before the video was supposed to go out, the day before everything was supposed to go out, God just made it available. I got the call at 10 o'clock in the morning. I got my doctor called me back around 7 o'clock that evening and said, "It's a go. How fast can you get to the hospital?" I'm like, I could be there in 20 minutes. I got a ride to the hospital from my father-in-law. Around 10:30 p.m., they said they're ready for you, Justin. I said, "Okay, all right, let's go." And I get into the triage room, and they're kind of going over with me like what they're going to do. The anesthesiast came in and told me what the anesthesia is going to be, and then I started to get real anxious and nervous, and I started like shaking. I couldn't stop moving, and I couldn't breathe. And they're like, "Justin, are you okay?" I'm like, "No." I'm like, "I'm anxious. I'm nervous. Everything is happening so fast." And one of the nurses came over and said, "Well, I believe in the power of prayer. Can I pray with you?" I said, "Yes, hurry up. Yes, pray." and the minute she started praying, I immediately started to calm down. And then at the end of her prayer, she said, "In Jesus' name, amen." And then I fell asleep. I woke up about 4:30 in the morning, and they're waking me up. Justin, if you can hear me, squeeze my hand. And they're like, you just finished a successful kidney transplant. And then I fell back asleep. And the rest is, well, it's not history. This is actually going on right now. So on February 16th, it'll be 3 months since I've had the kidney transplant. I haven't had to do dialysis since November 25th. So this has been amazing for my family, not just me, but my family, for my children to see a healthy father, to be able to go with them anywhere, to not have to get up early in the morning and leave the house and then come back and he's weak and he's tired and sleepy and stuff. But you can hear them in the background. But to be able to just to live life. I received new life. I received new life on November 16th, and then here comes Thanksgiving. I'm thankful for new life. I don't know, the ones on Facebook, you probably saw the post. I'm thankful for just new life. And then Christmas, I have the gift of life. I'm fine. I'm good. Going into a new year with no dialysis, no kidney problems at all, with a new life, with a new kidney. My birthday was January 12th. New life. I don't need anything else. I am good. God has blessed me. God has made me a walking miracle. But all that to say, whenever we got the kidney transplant, or I got the kidney transplant, we weren't prepared because everything happened so fast. So that's the reason for the J Rains Transplant Fund, to help me and my family with medical expenses, bills, stuff that's very crucial financially, for us during this time while I'm, in recovery. Because I call I'll call the bill collectors, and they're like, "Oh, that's awesome! You got a kidney transplant. Yeah. So when can you pay this bill?" So that's the purpose of it. And once again, the ones who have contributed, thank you so much. If you can, share this video, repost it. Yeah. That's the reason for it. Anything helps. Any and everything helps. But I'm grateful. My wife, my children, we are all grateful and thankful. Shout out, of course, to my wife and my beautiful children. Shout out to my endorsing companies, and I say that because they support me beyond the music. MTD, Groove Gear, Gallion Kruger, Dean Markley Strings. It's always, how are you? How are you doing? It's never about well, I'll say it's never, but it's not always about the music, but it's about the person. Sabian cymbals, Vader drumsticks, they're great. They're concerned about who I am as a person. Shout out to my brothers who have been there in dialysis with me, not doing dialysis, but they would just support me there. Kevin Camp, Evan Bryce, Jeremiah McConico, Ezra Turner, my Pittsburgh family. If I start naming too many people, it's going to be, I'm gonna leave somebody out. My mother, my in-laws, my sisters, everybody, my bishop, Robert C. Perry at 234 Norfolk Street, Mount Olive Kingdom Builders. Amen. In Boston. Yeah, but thank you for watching the video. I know it's about 25 minutes now, but if you've made it all the way through, I thank you. Once again, share, repost. I'll put the link to the fundraiser at the bottom of this video. But it's www.youcaring.com/J Rains Transplant Fund. Yeah, thank you. I hope you liked the little interlude in the beginning of it, But God bless you all. You are going to see a lot more of Justin Rains. More on the ministry side, more on the music side. I'm just trying to live this best life that I can and share and give back to as many people as I can. Thank you for listening. Thank you for supporting me, and God bless you.